motherfucker. Stop it. That's close to my dick now, mate.
Scared him.
I scared him.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
Jumpy.
Jumpy. I'm scared. Welcome to another one, Bosh. We swapped sides.
To keep it interesting.
Yeah, that looks odd now. No, I don't know how it looks, but it feels odd.
Yeah, it's different. I like this spot.
I thought, what's tickling?
I like this spot.
You can keep it for time being. I don't know. Have it if you wish.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so kind.
I know. So we have a Friday evening.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm just stating what time we actually.
Friday evening.
What time we actually recording this?
7:20 p.m.
Yeah. So what's good with your week? Last time we talked, we said that you're gonna share the insights of your family being here. Because last week, it's last week.
Yeah,
they
it was last
came
week.
to visit, right?
Yeah, so that was interesting. That was fun. It was absolutely lovely to see them here. It was weird experience because they've never been. So it was odd to have them here, sitting next to you rather than FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was odd. Hello, baby. Yeah, the sad part was that my dad wasn't too well. He's got problems with his hips, and he wasn't up to walking anywhere or driving long distances.
So basically couldn't do much.
Yeah, so that was sad, and it got me sad and angry at the same time because I grew up with a man. I might get emotional, sorry. I love my dad, and he's always been so active and liked going places, doing things, and now he's bound to sitting, or laying down on a sofa, just because he's in so much pain. But I get angry because he does nothing about it, and you're like,
set in his old ways, right?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like when you don't realize before it's too late. I think that you do the same things, you get into your routine, and then you wake up one day and you're too old and you feel that anything new is too scary and you don't want to change things, and you just continue in those same ways even though they're not suiting you anymore.
Yeah, because what worked for you to got you where you are, doesn't mean that it works now.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, we had a.
You don't have to be afraid to look into a camera.
I'm not afraid. Okay. I'm not afraid.
We had what?
Well, I said some things, and I think I hurt my dad a little bit in terms of with my words, or maybe it put it in a different perspective for him. The state that he is now is not it's not serving him to enjoy his golden years. I mean, he's just retired this year, so he should be just having the best time of his life, doing whatever he wants, not needing to go to work or think about a lot of things that you think when you're younger. You can just relax and chill and have a good time, go places, but you can't because you neglected yourself.
You know, you said some things that hurt your dad. I don't know if the saying hurt him is a correct saying. Because what you said, words might be hurtful, but I don't think that's the case. I didn't. It put it into perspective that maybe it was more upsetting him rather than
Yeah.
hurting him. I don't know. That's
I think
my
I
take
gave
on
him
it.
the hard pill to swallow,
Right. Yeah. That's
and
a good way
I spoke the truth out, and maybe he wasn't thinking about his state in the way that I put it in. That, well, it's hindering. It's not about him. It's about his grandkids. That, well, what memories are you giving your grandkids if you do nothing with them? Just lay down and watch telly. So
Yeah, especially when like your sister's child is what, like 5 now?
yeah, he's
So
gonna be
he's all
6 in
up
April.
and running, active.
Yeah,
And your sister goes a lot back to your hometown.
yeah,
to,
they spend a lot of time together.
yeah, to visit your mom and dad. So they see the grandchild quite often.
Yeah,
And now he's aware that the granddad can't do much,
yeah.
even though he was all right. But now he's at the age where he wants to sort of like do stuff.
Well,
And now
he's
your
at
dad-
that golden age where they would be bonding, going fishing, going, I don't know, to camping, you know,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
you do
yeah.
with it. I never had a granddad,
Yeah.
so
I
I don't
remember
know
you
what
mentioned, yeah.
what things you do with your granddad. But the way I see it, the way I imagine, it's, you know,
I had a granddad, but I don't think I had the experience of granddad. Because remember, I mentioned you a couple of times I'm not sure what's the correct word in English to describe what type my granddad was. It's for sure he wasn't like an alcoholic.
yeah.
He had that problem,
Well,
but he was very sophisticated.
Is it socialite? Where
Alcoholic, but yeah, if you would have never
Intelligence?
known that he is, you would have never said that he
Yeah.
is that way unless you saw him coming back home completely fucking wasted. He's just leaning to one side, just like gravity's working on him and whatnot.
Yeah, I think in our generation, we come from generation where we had either our parents had alcohol severely involved in the, I don't know, activities, or our grandparents had that.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon to have that. But yeah, I mean, so I suppose you didn't have the experience of a granddad, but the way I see
had a
it,
granddad, yeah, but
Yeah.
it was not. From what I heard, like how your dad spends time with your sister's son,
yeah,
it was nothing what I had. It was just I had a granddad, and I still have a grandmother. But yeah, my granddad experience was nothing like your nephew is experiencing or can experience if you
Yeah.
wish. But your dad is different. If that
that was what was I? That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is that your grandparents, your grandma, they're
older
more
generation, right?
no, they're more sophisticated. They people to go to a theater or
Yeah, that's true.
a restaurant, whereas
Yeah.
my parents are more laid back.
Not
They're
bougie.
like not bougie at all. They're more like they'd go camping, they'd
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to the nature, walks to the forests, rather than go to city. They hate this kind of stuff. They don't. I mean, my mom likes it, but my dad he's more of a take him to nature kind of guy.
Likes outdoors, right?
Yeah.
Right. Camping,
Well,
fires.
My
tents and stuff.
grandma, the one I had, she was more farming type. She wasn't a farmer, but she was
She had an allotment.
massive compared to what they have here.
Right,
It would be
right,
like
right, yeah.
4 or 5 together. It was massive. There was a lot of land that
Right.
she worked. And yeah, she was growing all the vegetables and all sorts. So they come from that background, and my grandma was that. But my grandma made us work rather
You
than.
didn't like that, did you?
Well, I mean, as
a
a kid, you
yeah.
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You had fun where you had fun. If you have to water the cucumbers, you're watering the cucumbers and having fun. But yeah, so, but from what I hear, my granddad, he was very much like my dad,
Right.
type of guy where he was more laid back and fun and a good person to be around. So yeah, that was my point when I was having a chat with my dad, that, well, you need to give that granddad experience to your grandkids, and if you do nothing, you're just gonna end up worse and worse. So he actually, when he got back, he actually went to physio, and he's starting to do something about
On
it.
his own, not being forced.
Not forced,
Your
yeah.
sister just made an appointment.
Just booked him, yeah.
But he complied.
So sometimes I think giving that hard truth or tough love helps people to, well, basically gives a kick up the ass and makes them do something different rather than continue in their own little ways. And I understand, like, as you get older, I feel it now that it's much more difficult to break away from old habits, from old routines that you like or things that you are used to, and try something new. But I think if you want to stay young for as long as you can, you need to push yourself into that uncomfortable zone where you're trying things out, you're traveling, you go in different places, learning new things, and that will keep your mind active and it will keep you active.
The change then does not look that much scary then.
Yeah, when you're used to change, something new is not that bad.
People get comfortable with certainty, and it's like...
Yeah, well, the only certain things that is, life is uncertain. That's the only certainty that we have. Because you never know what tomorrow will bring. Like today, we got snow out of all times.
And by the end of the day, it was back to spring. It was sunshine, warm.
Yeah.
You can see a bit of traces of snow, but it was wet everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like, you have to keep pushing yourself. You have to, and to some extent, maybe when you get older, you retire, maybe you lose purpose.
But your parents like really wanted like grandkids.
Yeah.
So in my mind, for all these years that we are together, the grandkids was like, or still is, their purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that was the hard pill to swallow for your dad, because you were talking about grandkids and your sister's child, and it sort of maybe hit him, the harsh truth.
Yeah.
That shit, she's right.
Yeah. And I mean, my parents devoted, which is another thing, I think that's their mistake. They devoted their life to me and my sister.
Yeah.
We were their purpose, and when we left home, they really suffered with the empty nest syndrome. And then it was really difficult for them to accept that, well, your kids are out and now you have to move on with your life. But they never had a life on their own because they were raising us. They were working to raise us, to make us, basically. Yeah. So when we left for uni and then we never got back after and just carried on living, I moved to a different country. My sister moved to a different city. Oh, hello. So it was never, they just had that empty nest. And when they got a grandkid, oh, bless him. Oh, he's full of fur. Yeah, when they got a grandkid, that's where I would expect that second burst of life would come into them, because they've got a new child to nurture, and they don't have to bother about, upkeep of the child, because that's my sister's and that's her problem. They just have to spoil him and spend time with him.
So your parents became quite codependent in terms of like from you and sister?
Yeah,
and when
badly.
When you moved on, or actually correct word would be moved out, they quite suffer from that.
Yeah,
strange
badly.
thing to say codependent about your mom and dad, but you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, if so we both left. So my sister left when she was 18, and then 3 years later I left. So for like 20 years, you were raising your kids and you were devoted to them. Absolutely. You've done things for them, and you know, it was just all about us.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's nothing to do. There's no purpose to do it for. Yeah, we sort of kept coming back. I don't know, for a weekend once in a while, or you know, like summertime, you'd spend time with them. But it was like, I've sent that post of that graph the other day where they did a survey, and it shows how much time you spend with your parents. So it really declines after 20 years.
Yeah.
And well, it makes sense because you move on to live your life, to create your family or career or whatever, to create your life basically. And if you stay, I mean, I love my parents, but I think moving away from them has helped me to break quite a lot of generational trauma that has been passed on.
Yes.
And then I could become my own person rather than repeat whatever was...
Same patterns, right?
Yeah, whatever was
ingrained,
wired in me, yeah. So, but I love them to the moon. I could not have asked for better parents, but you just have to unfortunately realize that you spend less and less time with them, but you still want to stay connected to them. So it's really sad and angry. It makes me angry that they don't look after themselves as I expect them to.
So yeah.
Because I kept saying like, oh, just because any spare money they had, they'd be like throwing it at us rather than, I don't know, go on a holiday together or do something.
Well, that's the thing. Your dad is not really a holiday man. See, it took him...
He likes traveling.
Right, but it took him so many years to get to England. He didn't really want it to get onto a plane and get to a flight experience.
No, but he likes... He's a driver. He likes driving. He went all over the Europe in his, working years.
Yeah.
And he could do the same. He could go to Europe, but he doesn't like spending money on himself especially. He likes to save it. But yeah, he would enjoy seeing places, doing things, I think.
Well, when he sorts that hip out.
Yeah, now that he's doing something about it, hopefully it's not too late to...
Before they left, they already were talking that next time they come in, they're
traveling by car, yeah.
Traveling by car, yeah. With all the pans and pots and
all the
jams
delicious
and whatever
things that they make, yeah.
That your mum...
That's another thing that I got from my parents where, probably a lot of our generation still remember that, where you would pick all the fruit, all the vegetables over summer, and then autumn time you would pickle everything or prepare it, and then that would get you through winter.
Make your jams and stuff.
Yeah, make your own jam. Because I remember, because it wasn't that readily available when we were kids, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we sort of like grew up in post-Soviet Union era, and it was different, or not different, it was hard to get stuff. Later in years that stuff became available.
Yeah.
But I suppose when we were growing up until a certain age, stuff was not as readily available as you would get anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, so you had to make your own strawberry jam, and I think it's good that we've seen it. I mean, we don't make our own jam anymore, but if needed to, we would know sort of approximately that you need berries and sugar and put them in a pot to simmer. So you kind of know the process, you kind of know things you'd need to do, whereas new generation that think that...
They can Google.
No, the thing that, you get your milk from the shop.
Ah, right.
It doesn't come from a cow, or cucumbers don't grow. You can just buy them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids are losing that skill. It's our fault because we don't do our own jams anymore.
I suppose when you have a kid, you can start making your own jam.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to. Well, I am starting now, aren't I? Grow things and try and make things. I wouldn't probably go into pickling and all that, because that's really time consuming.
It's a bit much. Yeah, but at this day and age in the world, you never know. It might come in handy.
But yeah,
to preserve food.
Few skills to have are how to make fire.
Yeah.
How to make food. And you don't, without a recipe, to know the products, to know what goes with what, and how you prepare meat, what do you need to do that, So skills to have is to know how to make food, fire. What else would you say?
How to get water clean.
Ah, that's another, So basic sort of survival things, stuff, isn't it? Because people don't realize that sometimes you might get stranded somewhere, or things might change.
You never know what might come in handy.
Exactly. There's a saying in Lithuanian, isn't it? Whatever you learn, you're not carrying it on your shoulders.
On your shoulders,
yeah.
Sure.
So that was a beautiful experience with my parents. It was a
We
little.
gave them to try Chinese.
Yeah, they liked fish and chips.
Oh, they like fish and chips. Your mom said it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
She wasn't that fussed with carvery.
No.
But she liked the Yorkshire pudding though.
Who doesn't like a Yorkshire pudding?
For whatever reason, she was calling it a bagel. I
Never
suppose maybe
mind.
it resembles a bagel, but it's just missing a hole.
Well, it's got a dent in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely to have them. It was a shame we couldn't take them places, but next time.
Yeah, so it was nice to have them, as you say. And hopefully next time they are here, your dad can move better and we can go do stuff.
Yeah. Have more fun.
Yeah, true. Any other ideas to share this lovely evening?
We can keep it short tonight.
Just a little weekly catch up. Well,
Yeah.
This week it happens to be a weekly catch up.
Well, we are trying to get into a habit, aren't we?
Yeah. So we talked about habits last time,
Yeah.
and we are trying to.
Yeah, we tried to make it easy, so we actually kept we didn't keep the setup while my parents were here, but we're planning to keep the setup.
So it's just
in
click,
here.
click, click, click. Boom.
So it's much easier.
It's done, and we can chat about things. If you would leave comments and suggest the ideas or DM us what you want us to talk, or maybe with who you want us to talk, we can get, or you can get, or I can get someone to speak with. What people are interested in.
Yeah, do comment.
I suppose a person has to speak in English because we're trying to keep in English.
Comment, please.
Yeah, my brother said, "Oh, you could do like Lithuanian subtitles." I said, "Yeah, I could if you're gonna do them, because it takes time to write them, and ain't nobody got time for that."
People should learn English.
People should learn English. That's something we encourage.
That's another life skill, isn't it?
Yes, know at least one foreign language, right?
Languages are important, not only for getting out in the world and communicating with people, but it opens up your own perspective, because there are expressions in. Is he pressing on your balls?
Not balls, but groin, but that's close.
Oh.
With like his. Oh, motherfucker! Stop it! That's close to my dick now, mate. Yeah.
So yeah, language can open up your own point of view, because some expressions in different languages, you wouldn't get them if you didn't know the language. Yeah. So some emotions. So yeah, the more languages you know, the better it is. The more open to the world you are, the more cultures you know. So
That's why I like moving countries and like speaking different language, because
yeah,
it basically what you said.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's sweet and short. That's it.
Let's keep it sweet and short.
All right. So we're wishing you a very good day whenever you are watching this, or evening or morning, and I suppose we will speak with you soon.
Yeah.